And are you providing Roger with a list of updated equipment needs?
We have a very large list, Mr. Chairman.
All right, good. Well, no, that's, that's our forte right now.
Okay.
We've been batting 1,000. We want to help, we want to keep the agency on the cutting edge and extremely relevant. We're a leader throughout the states, and we want to remain that way. So, and I think, you have to have the right tools to do the job. So we want to, and I send this not only to you all making this, to the whole FWC family who's watching the meeting. If you have a request for certain equipment or something, we need to know. Bring it up to us. So work it through your leadership and then make sure it gets to Roger and it gets to us. We want to help advocate for it. It only makes the job easier, and if we can, we often say, and we look at, a lot of other states look at FWC as a leader, and they watch what we're doing. They want to emulate us, and so we want to lead, and we want others to follow our lead. So, okay, so.
Fisherman, actually a third generation commercial fisherman. Probably 60 members of my family through 3 generations have been commercial fishermen in freshwater lakes. We're seeing a big decline in our freshwater lakes, and it's from, as one of the ladies said earlier, the ring of death. I know y'all know what that is. It's the circle around the lakes that's dying, and it's due to the pesticide spray. And I'm speaking of our fishery. We are losing our fishery a little at a time every year, But I'm here fighting for what I've grown up doing. And I'm not able to do it anymore. You're adding nutrients to the nutrients. You're killing grass that's turning into compost, that's turning into more nutrients. How are you taking away? You're not. It's getting worse. And y'all need to listen to red whistle flag blowers like me. I don't have a piece of paper here in front of me to talk to y'all about what I'm thinking about, because it's right here. I live it every day. I got blisters on my legs right now from working last week in the spray in a section of the lake that I was doing good in. But I can't catch any fish in it no more because y'all sprayed it. The fishery's dying. Y'all have any questions for me?
We hear you.
It's crickets.
We hear you. We hear you.
Please listen, and please buy some harvesters. Let us try it. Put it on loose a lake. I'll run it. I tell you that. I'm dead serious. You laughing? Buy us a piece of equipment.
I know you'd run
Buy
it.
me a piece of equipment. I will run it on loose lake, and I will make y'all a believer in what I'm trying to tell you.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to pass on a little bit of the peer review from the state of Louisiana. When I asked Louisiana Inland Fisheries Aquatic Plant Director Dr. Daniel Hill if Louisiana uses Aquathol K, which is y'all's most popular one, he replied, no, it's too hot of a chemical to use around our fish and wildlife, and it's too expensive. I brought that up in Jacksonville. And I said, well, what do you spray hydrilla with? He says, his reply is, we don't spray hydrilla because ducks eat it and fish live in it. He went on to say, we manage hydrilla rather than try to eliminate it with biochemical insect control and lake drawdowns. He went on to tell me that the results were nothing short of wonderful. Talking with Texas Inland Fisheries on their aquatic plant, in the Rio Grande River, they told me that they do not use Aquathol K in the Rio Grande River for hydrilla. They tell me that this chemical, as well as others, because they fear of harming illegal immigrants coming across the river. Wrap your head around this. We have off-the-chain Aquathol K, millions upon millions of gallons, and these 2 states worry about their fish, wildlife, and illegal immigrants being harmed. Maybe you guys could learn from Louisiana and Texas.
Aquatic plants are life, whether they're non-native or native, and I think sometimes we lose focus with conflating conservation with eradication. And when even a non-native plant is providing habitat. That plant has value. I also travel to Louisiana frequently. Non-native plants are managed a lot different there. I've seen some of the highest biodiversity in areas that are choked with water hyacinth, where every step you take, there's a frog hopping, there's a snake slithering off, there's something alive. And unfortunately, I just don't see that much in Florida anymore. And we saw a big drop-off starting from the late 90s and into the early 2000s, and that just so happens to be when a lot of the herbicide spraying was ramped up. So record densities of amphibians were documented in a study in the 70s at Rainy Slough by Stephen Godley, a herpetologist. Record densities of amphibians, aquatic salamanders, aquatic snakes in water hyacinth roots, in water lettuce roots. And now the salamanders are all gone. That area is managed, the hyacinth is sprayed, and there's just about no salamanders left. And we're seeing this all over the state. So I think that we need to continue to improve our management and try to look at other management techniques rather than chemical spraying. Thank you.
Okay, well, you know, while the last two speakers were talking, I went online, and the aquatic plant control in Louisiana, and there's 3 ways they control the aquatic plant there, and one is chemicals. It's EPA-approved aquatic herbicides. Public waters throughout the state are controlled with nuisance aquatic weeds, mechanical and biological. So, I mean, I appreciate people giving us testimony, but I would like for you not to confuse things, if you don't mind.
Yesterday afternoon I spoke, and I would like to clear up a misunderstanding that Mr. Barreto had. I spoke about Louisiana, and I touted their use of biocontrol insects to kill aquatic plant, and also their lake drawdown methods. They rely heavily on those 2 things. Well, Mr. Barreto commented that he went on later after I spoke and came up and said that Louisiana does use chemical, and he goes on to say that they do use aquatic pesticides. Well, there's a little bit to that that's wrong. They do less than $1.5 million a year aquatic pesticides. That most of that's for giant salvini, which covers the whole state and grows through the cold weather. They also use insects on that. But the state of Florida, well, let's go with IPM. IPM is $23 million a year on aquatic pesticides. Habitat and species conservation, I don't have the figures on that, but it's high up there. It's $33 million for South Florida water management. I don't have the figures on St. John's or Southwest Florida, but it's up there. So we could easily say that tens of millions of dollars are being used on to treat aquatic plants here in Florida. We're the #1 customer in the world for aquatic pesticides by far. And even China does not even put this Aquathol K that they sell y'all. And check that out. I know you have a look on your face kind of like you're not believing me. Check that out, or I'll send you over some of the info on that. It would be no exaggeration that your own invasive plant management sector kills more wildlife in a single day, with helicopters raining poison in the inner marshes and fleets of airboats statewide dousing down everything green than poachers could dream of killing in decades.
Frank, I'm here to tell you, y'all are missing out on a huge money-making opportunity. There are documents in your file that show how you can make money off hyacinths by using it as biofuel, fertilizer, of course, feed for cows, for manatees, and hyacinths and water lettuce absorb the pollutants from the water. So we need this more than ever. Now that Florida is #1 in the country for most polluted lakes and surface waters, we need those aquatic plants to be absorbing the nutrients and the pollutants. So there are ways in your file to make money off harvesting hyacinths instead of spraying it with poisons.
Has any employee or commissioner ever observed a public video that showed a possible threatened or protected water bird being sprayed with poisons? If there is a video of above, would you investigate? As far as I can tell, your FWC poison spraying program sounds like the Wild Wild West. There has been thousands of violations of federal law when using these products in a manner consistent with its labeling. Commissioners, when are you going to start following the science of the poisons and quit killing Florida's wildlife for the love of money? If you don't monitor, given time, we will. I would like to congratulate the FWC commissioners on becoming #1 in the nation. Yes, Florida is #1 in having the most polluted lakes. It's your fault, not my fault. I'm a victim. I can't even duck hunt on Lake Kissimmee anymore because it's polluted. And now these poisons have reached the brackish and the saltwater coastlines. Due to Irma and Ian, just like I warned you in Gainesville, Irma did the same thing to Lake Kissimmee shoreline. Due to Irma and Ian, be proud of the dead 6,000 acres that Tampa Bay now lays dormant, and the 2,000 manatees that are dead or starving. It's your fault. The commissioner's fault. It's not my fault. You commissioners need to resign. You commissioners need to resign. You commissioners need to resign.
My dad served in the military. He died because of the military. My uncle served 3 tours, Vietnam. Gentleman talked about Agent Orange. My uncle died a horrid death from Agent Orange. I just wanted to say that. How'd we get here? I was here yesterday. There was a line full of law enforcement. So what are you trying to do, intimidate? Are you trying to threaten us? Are you trying to put us in a position where we don't want to get up here and talk to y'all? Y'all work for us. I'm not understanding, people come to me, what can we do, what can we do, what can we do? Well, oh, sorry, thank you. Amazing how we have to come to a meeting and feel under duress of threat. When I considered joining the Florida Game and Freshwater Fish Commission back in the late 80s, I'm glad I don't work for y'all. Instead, you see this? This is called the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. When people get up here and speak, they should serve it up in an affidavit. They're doing your research, your job, just over broke. When any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people, we the people, to alter or to abolish it. I heard the call for resignations with all the research that's come over, all the years. I'm Florida Pesticides. I've been in this since before 2010, when they tried to spray me, trying to kill me, or run me off the road, or send me death threats. We the people, the Declaration of Independence starts out with those 3 words, we the people. Not we the government, Mother May I, we the people. I call for y'all's resignation. They have brought all. I motion to call for your resignation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It is said, it is done.
People. The by the people motion today goes like this. From this day forward, the Commission shall not approve any more spraying and will implement new and improved best management practices. under the direction and overseen by the people. And there will be no more spraying, discharging, releasing, disposing of any pesticides, herbicides, algicides, etc. by the people's water, aka state-owned waters, or any other waters. And the better option of mechanical harvesting shall be utilized from this day forward. Do I have a second?
A second. Third.
We the people have a second, a third. We have hundreds of people that have asked you, begged you to quit spraying.
Amen.
So, we have the second. Do we need to discuss this motion? Y'all have been begged for a decade now to stop the spraying. As they've said, we've become #1 in the most impaired waters. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself.
Resign now.
Have you read the MSDS sheets? The MSDS sheets say do not allow to enter any waterways. You wonder why cancer rates are through the roof? Disease, illness, it's everywhere. I know too many people that have died from cancer. I ask for you to resign, vacate the seat.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, folks, before we go forward, we really want to be able to hear each and every person in an orderly fashion, so each person has their time to speak at the podium. What we're not going to have is people shouting out from the audience. You've had your time, or you can have your time, but we're not going to have people shutting out the audience. If you continue to be disruptive in that manner, I'm going to ask the law enforcement officers to take you out of the room.